Greetings, my friends. Welcome to the Grit and Equity Talks podcast with yours truly, Dr. India White. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I hope that you were able to do well with your Easter celebrations. Happy Easter and all that good stuff. I'm super excited about this session because we're wrapping up the school year. There's so much great energy going on with graduations and new ideas, new opportunities for all of us. So let's go ahead and continue to finish strong with grit this year. With that said, I do want to make some announcements. First things first, the Grit and Equity Talks podcast with Dr. Edu White will be featured on the XFactor Edu Network, hosted by Dr. Matthew Joseph and his team, and it can be found also on Spotify on the XFactor Edu Network. So go over there and check it out. Thank you for your support. Also, if you're looking for other avenues, you can find this podcast on my social media platforms, which are Miss India White for Facebook. LinkedIn is The India White. Twitter is Indie Speak and Teach. Instagram is Indie238. YouTube is India White123. And TikTok is Dr. India White. In addition to that, check out the website, www.india-white.com for any books, blogs, or just schedule me for a speaking or coaching event. With that said, also, speaking of events, I was supposed to be in MCTM today. I was going to land and get there among you guys. However, I was just in a car crash. And so I have been busy with hospital visits, adjusters, things like that. And so thank you for all the love and support to everyone. I'm just thankful to God for his grace and keeping me and my children. It was a crazy situation where I was someone ran the red light and they hit me in the back, and my entire car did like a 180 spin. Thank God it did, because if not, I would have hit a pole and I might not be here recording this podcast. So, I'm just thankful for the grace of God. So with that said, I am busy with that. So we are all getting checked out. I'm also dealing with, of course, adjusters and things like that. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to cancel my wonderful trip to Minnesota to see you fabulous rock stars. I am going to be sending some things to Minnesota leaders for you guys to check out regarding grit in the grit framework and what that looks like as you're building a gritty thinking classroom. So please be on the lookout for that and for additional resources and opportunities for you to get resources still at a discounted price, because you guys did ask me to come speak, and it'll be my way of kind of just saying thank you and sending my love in the midst of my absence there. With that said, I also want to thank all of you guys that have been checking out the Grit Mini Workshop. It's on the Grassroots Workshops website with Robert Kaplinski and the team there. Thank you, Robert, for this opportunity. I know that you guys have a million things to check out before you even think about grit. But the thing I love about grit is like the glue that keeps all of these fabulous ideas together. So with that said, check out a little bit of grit while you're on that platform as well. And I'm so excited to hear about the results of how it's all going. Also, the Grit Academy, it's been here. If you're needing tutoring for your students, maybe you're teaching seniors, or you have a senior, or you have any student grades K-12, I am willing to support them, my team and I, up to calculus. So get with us when you get a chance. And so with that said, this podcast is if you are trying to close the achievement gap, but you've been having classroom management issues, or your students aren't motivated to do work, join me where we could talk about different strategies that we need to do to cultivate grit and build grit as we talk about things on the Grit and Equity podcast. Speaking of that, today, I also want to remind you guys of the Grit calendars. Please make sure you get your copy of the Grit calendar. You'll see it here, 2025 Grit calendar, just for you guys. Check it out. It's a great opportunity. Some of you guys are planning. I know some of you are already making calls for the upcoming school year and what you're wanting to do. Thank you to all of those that have been calling me and contacting me. Yes, I am available for 2026 and for the rest of 2025 and for your openings in your school. So please spread the word, spread this podcast so that I can help you guys wherever I'm supposed to be. Now, with that said, I want to come on here and talk with you because we are wrapping up the school year. People need new ideas, but some of us have been going through different roadblocks, mental blocks, things like that. And I know some of you are like, India, we're trying to keep a growth mindset, but how? So I want to come in here and talk to you about how you can eliminate roadblocks through grit. I want to talk with leaders teachers, parents, everyone. Because I think, what happens is, especially in the world of education, you get so comfortable doing the same old. You have your faculty meeting on Tuesday or whatever it is. You have your bus duty at the end of the day. You have your teacher duty through the day. You're answering the emails from district. You're having professional development, your PLCs. You have the testing coming up. A lot of you guys have standardized testing coming up, whether it's SAT, ACT, district-wide tests, statewide tests. Even some of you have done NAEP, which I don't know if NAEP's going to be around much longer. But anyway, so you have all of these different tests and things that you're doing. And you can get caught in the cycle, right? You just get stuck in a rut, stuck, doing the same thing. We've always done it like this. It's always been that way. And sometimes we get comfortable with that because we don't like change. Because if it works, why fix it? Why break it? But I want to come in here and say that maybe some of these practices and things like that are causing roadblocks, but we have to learn how to eliminate those roadblocks through grit. So I'm going to talk with you today about how you can eliminate roadblocks through grit, having a growth mindset, having the resilience enough to actually break those barriers, and then to have enough self-efficacy to believe that you can do something greater. And then time management, being able to hold yourself accountable as you're, pursuing good change and growth. And so with that said, from me, my love to you, I want to talk with you about how you can eliminate some of these mental roadblocks. First off, you want to rewire your brain for some positive thinking. What have you been thinking lately? What are you saying? Oh, these kids aren't going to pass. Oh, my teachers aren't going to make proficient, gains for our students. And, what are you saying? How can you rewire those thoughts? So the first things first is you need to, if you're struggling with this, I would recommend that you get pencil and paper and write out, what are your thoughts? Are your thoughts mostly negative towards someone, something, whatever? What's affecting your thoughts? Is it the news, politics? Like, what's affecting your overall opinions and the way you do business? Is it working for you? If you find that you're in a rut, then I want to also encourage you to consider positive affirmations. There is nothing wrong with considering positive affirmations and getting quiet and learning how to rewire what's going on in your mind and what you're telling yourself. Some of us have been telling ourselves bad stuff since we've been like teenagers. You're not going to amount to nothing. You're good for nothing. You're always going to be broke. You're always going to, like all this foolish stuff. Or others have told us that, and we've kind of just had the subliminal message of failure, of poverty, of hatred, of insecurity, of worthlessness, and it's one of those things, like, you have to choose, like, I'm not gonna succumb to this and just let this overtake me. I'm going to do something different and bounce back. I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to rewire myself so that I can go on and continue to pursue my destiny. So I want to just encourage you guys to consider positive affirmations. Start thinking about what you've been told. Write out those quiet thoughts, and you'd be amazed. Some of you will be amazed as you do this, because you probably don't even realize that you've been dealing with some things. Then 3, give yourself permission to rebrand yourself. There's nothing wrong. Perfect example of this kind of is Michelle Obama. I don't really talk about politics, and I'm not here to talk about politics. I'm here to talk about her brand. I don't know if you remember, but Michelle Obama, when she came on the scene, she was very classy, first lady. Hair was always short, curled, presidential. She always wore those, presidential first lady outfits. After she hung up her role as president's wife, as first lady, this woman became herself. She started doing her hair whatever way she wanted. She started dressing whatever way she wanted. She wrote a book. She has a podcast. She's doing her thing. She's rebranded herself from just being first lady. She's putting her doctorate to use. She is amazing, because she's a perfect example of what rebranding yourself looks like. I thought that was just really neat that she was able to go from such, all eyes on her all the time, to say, I'm going to live my life and have fun. and I'm rebranding myself and giving myself permission to be great in other areas. Some of you were rock stars in a certain area, and maybe doors are closing, and maybe you feel like your time has ended there. And now maybe you're feeling like you don't have a purpose, or maybe you're feeling like things have dried up. I want to encourage you to shift your vision and to shift your perspective and to understand that other doors and other opportunities can open. You might have been a great educator, but maybe you're also a great podcaster. Maybe you're also a great gardener. Maybe you're also a great YouTuber. Maybe you're a great real estate person. Maybe you're a great nurse. There's so many people that have more than one profession. It's okay to brand yourself again and to take up another profession. Just because a door closes doesn't mean that all doors have closed. There are several other doors opening for you. There are so many people waiting to work with you, to do business with you, to contract with you. Yes, you, those out there that you feel like doors are closed, or maybe you lost your job, or maybe, whatever. People are waiting on you and your gifting and your talents. Nobody can replace you. So don't get it twisted. Don't think that because some people rejected you or made you feel like trash, or maybe they don't like your brand, they don't like you as a person, the way you showed up, they don't like your culture, they don't like your language, they don't like your gender. I don't care. They're not the last say. There are millions still waiting to work with you. So be encouraged and wipe your eyes, change your focus, and go take advantage of those that really want to work with you. Now, I also want to talk about changing your environments. Okay. This is perfect because when you're trying to change environments, it's so exciting because you get fresh air, fresh energy, fresh people, fresh ideas, right? And you get to have permission to develop again and to become that butterfly and to fly and to go forward. Leave off the dead energies and the toxic people and the mess. Okay. All of us have enemies. All of us have negativity. All of us have mistakes, skeletons in our closet, right? Focusing on that is not going to help, right? So just choose to go on and be great and leave behind the people that just couldn't go with you, the things, the opportunities, ideas that couldn't go with you. Okay. And then, of course, ignore the noise. So I've been saying this for years. You're going to have people come out of the woodwork, out of the weeds, that just all of a sudden they just have some negative puke to say. Okay. They found their way on your train, on your fan train, and they decided to throw puke and trash on it. So you've got to learn to ignore these people and to continue to move forward as you're making steps ahead in progress and towards your purpose. Because having your mind set on the ultimate goal is key. That's what it's all about. Okay. You're not going to please everybody. Somebody says that out of 10 people in the room, there's one person that always will not like you, period. There's nothing you've done. And guess what? They have the right to not like you. There's also, people that say what other people think about me is none of my business, right? Sometimes you get so caught up trying to find out put out fires and try to find out what this person said or what this person thinks. Who gives 2 cents? Nobody cares. Go on and do your business. Go ahead in your purpose. Repackage yourself, rebrand yourself, do whatever, change your environments, do whatever you need to do, and hang around people that will celebrate you and not tolerate you. Why are you putting up with toleration? Rewire yourself, rebrand yourself, eliminate those roadblocks through grit, having that growth mindset. Be resilient enough to start over, okay? Have enough self-efficacy to believe in yourself and to believe in your credentials and to know that you are more than what your enemies and your haters are saying, okay? Have enough time management to put this thing to a plan. Use the grit calendar, okay? Do something and say, I've got more in life, for me. I've got so much more left of life to live, God willing. I have so many more opportunities and ideas. There are so many other people willing to work with me. That's another thing. Some of you are like, I feel like you're feeling like maybe you lost some people that used to hang out with and things that maybe you feel like, oh, that's over, the door is closed. Well, guess what? That one might be closed, but there's like 10 more waiting for you. So don't get lost in the concept of this was my only source of hope. This is my only source of people that want to work with me. No, that's hogwash. Okay, so I hope that this episode is encouraging all of you. Now, what I want to do is talking about how to move past mental roadblocks, mental emotional roadblocks. Let's hear what she has to say.
Now, people say that time heals, but if you ask someone with severe anxiety or PTSD, they'll tell you that it doesn't. Or if you ask someone with depression if thinking about their emotions or their thoughts helps, they'll often say that it just makes them feel worse. So here's the thing. Usually what's causing our mental block is that instead of processing through an emotion and coming out the other side, something that we're doing is leaving us cycling, going in a circle and constantly getting stuck. One definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
I think that was interesting that she's talking about insanity. Some of us are stuck in those mental blocks, those circles, like she's saying there. Don't be insane. Just change. You're right. Just change. If I'm going to be honest, if you don't like the way you feel and you don't like the way things are lining up for you, it's time for you to change. It's time for you to find new people. It's time for you to find new opportunities and new ideas. There's nothing wrong with you. Okay. I would say that these new ideas and things that you're finding, give yourself permission to find greater things, greater opportunities, and greater people. And there's nothing wrong. Sometimes, people are in your life for a reason, a season, and a lifetime, right? And sometimes you think these people or these opportunities are there for a lifetime, but it was only a season or it was only a reason, right? So with that said, eliminate these roadblocks by keeping a growth mindset. Let's continue to listen to what else she has to say to us regarding this so that we're not insane.
So in this video, we're going to talk about what causes these mental and emotional blocks, as well as discuss some strategies to help you break through them. BetterHelp has sponsored this video, and they make it really easy.
So, yeah, I don't want to get flagged by BetterHelp. Let me keep going.
Give you a couple of examples. So with anxiety, it's common to avoid the things that make you anxious. So if you're afraid of dogs and you avoid them, that sends a message to your brain that the only reason you survived those dogs is because you avoided them, which your brain takes as a signal to make your anxiety worse around dogs.
Sorry, that was really cute. That dog with those double horns. Oh my gosh. The dog sitting there like, what? Anyway, let's fast forward through this chick.
Unless it makes me too sad or anxious, or if it gets too uncomfortable, then I'm not going to think about that anymore, right? So if you're not allowing yourself to feel your emotions, then you're going to start cycling through them, right? Because emotions serve a function, and they're going to keep popping up until you resolve whatever problem they're asking you to resolve.
That's good.
So if we go back to the fish processing.
I like that. So basically, a lot of this stuff is because there are problems that we need to resolve and we're not resolving them. You're trying to avoid them, trying to be cute and dance around it. When there's a big elephant in the room, you're going to have to deal with it. So now let's try.
6-year-old. So if we're watching this movie and it's like The Lion King, and as soon as we get to the point where there's like the stampede and Mufasa dies, and that is really sad, right? That's the point where she wants to turn the movie off. And then she's like traumatized by Disney movies, and she never wants to watch Disney movies again because she feels like the only thing that ever happens in Disney movies is it's like, first they're happy, and then they have a little problem, and then something awful happens, and then we turn off the movie, and we get stuck, right? If she were able to stick with it about 10 minutes more, we'd get to like Hakuna Matata, and then we'd get to like, oh, we're going to face our fears and we're going to fight Scar. And then in the end, there's that scene where like the grass is growing and they're up on Pride Rock and they're happy and there's love, right? Well, so this is what happens when someone who has experienced trauma gets stuck in avoidance, right? Because every time they face their trauma, it's so overwhelming that it blows their mental circuits and it leaves them stuck in a fight, flight, freeze response.
Wow.
So they could think about the trauma 100 times, but then what happens is they go into hyperarousal, they get stuck in this like scariest part of their trauma, and then they shut down, right? And they avoid it and they try not to think about it. And so basically
wow. So do you guys hear that? So a lot of the situations that people are in when they're stuck is because it's actually trauma, right? And the best way they deal with trauma is by avoiding it. And then life happens again, and then they go through it and they deal with it again, and then there's that trauma. So that's pretty powerful, and it makes me reflect to think like, how do we deal with trauma, right? So I don't want to take up too much time with this chick's video because it's her video. So
reason number 6 why a lot of people aren't able to process through emotions is you are unclear about whether it's your responsibility or not. And you get stuck in blame mode or victim mode, or you're waffling back and forth between the two of those, right? So that leaves you with a constant need to dredge up that blame again, or to make you feel vindicated, or you're acting helpless when you really need to solve something and take some action. So to solve this block, right? So sometimes someone's feeling really bitter because they just keep needing to go back to blame. Well, it's his fault that this happened. It's her fault that I feel this way. Da 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 da. When we have to stay in blame mode, that keeps us cycling.
This is really good. We could definitely learn from this.
It keeps us cycling in that emotion over and over and over again. So to solve that, we really need to get clear on our responsibility. And one of the ways to do this is to do the locus of control activity. It's also important to learn the skill of forgiveness.
Forgiveness, exactly. And so that's a little bit there about how we can eliminate roadblocks. One is finding out responsibility. I think, especially in the world of education, there's a lot of people we can blame. There's a lot of fingers you can point to. But if it's, for instance, if it's my class, at the end of the day, it's my class teachers. And if the students didn't pass, it's my class teachers. It's on me, right? I can't keep blaming Johnny and Johnny's mom and Johnny's neighborhood and Johnny's sports. And no, I need to take responsibility. I could have done more. I could have done more to help Johnny get through. If your teachers aren't rock star teachers, principal, sorry, let's point to ourselves. I could have provided more professional development. I could have been nicer at faculty meetings. I could have, maybe opened up more. I could have, during evaluations, I could have been more sensitive, more keen to what was going on, the big picture things. Those are some things that we have to just start taking responsibility for and stop blaming and pointing the finger, like that rock star said. So with that said, let's do better by owning up and also releasing, choosing to forgive. I mean, what do we accomplish when we hold on to bitterness, unforgiveness, grudges, I told you so moments, gotcha moments? What do we benefit by getting back on people? Like, for those out there that you hold power and you get to destroy people's lives or make people's lives, you get to promote, demote, you get to take, you get to keep, you get to whatever. What does it benefit from you now that you got that person back? How do you feel? Like, what did that do for you? What did that do for your company? What did that do for you, like, overall? I think, I just think, like, how many times do you have to have this grudge satisfied or this bitterness fulfilled? When are you gonna, like, get it together and realize that we are here? We need each other. We're here for one another. This is why I try not to get vengeance, because there's a scripture that I live by, and it says, "Vengeance is mine, says the Lord, I will repay." Now, I know this isn't about church or God, but it's a principle of things. I've learned that if I do not take matters in my own hands and people screw me over, people rip me off, people steal from me, people lie about me, people put my name down, whatever. I have learned a powerful principle to not even touch the situation, to let the Almighty God fight for me. And you would be amazed to see the vengeance. I'm talking, it's at such a level that I couldn't even fathom some of the things that God has done on my behalf. That when I just give it to God and I forgive and I release and I eliminate these roadblocks by keeping a positive mindset and moving forward instead of harnessing bitterness and stuff, those things that keep you blocked and stuck, I'm telling you, it's like you enjoy life so much more. It's just it opens up life and doors and so many more opportunities, you know, um, and great things happen as a result. I've just learned to just have forgiveness and to keep moving forward. I've learned that rejection is protection. If somebody rejects you, there's another door waiting for you. If one door closes, there's two more open waiting. You know, if a door closes, there's even a window open. You know, so just take courage and just know that because you're still alive, you still have purpose. You're still here. You're still needed. So continue to move those roadblocks out of your way. I want to now show one more video about neuroplasticity.
What if I told you that the key to unlocking your brain's full potential lies in understanding neuroplasticity? In today's video, we'll explore how you can rewire your brain, enhancing your mental resilience and overall well-being. I'm Dr. Tracy Marks, a psychiatrist, and I help strengthen your mind and fortify your brain to build resilience. When you grasp how neuroplasticity works, you'll realize that change isn't just possible, it's within your control. And today is a deeper and function through your experiences and behaviors. Neuroplasticity does work both ways. So negative thinking and behaviors also reinforce certain pathways in the brain. However, once you start replacing those negative habits with positive, new pathways begin to take over, helping you become more mentally strong and adaptable. To understand how neuroplasticity works, let's look at the basics of brain structure. Your brain consists of billions of neurons, which are the cells responsible for processing and transmitting information. These neurons or nerve cells communicate with each other through connections called synapses. When you learn something new or have a novel experience, your neurons form new connections or strengthen existing ones. And this process is called synaptic.
So this chick, she has a lot going on. She's amazing. For the sake of copyright, I'm going to skip some of this. So she's talking about now like the benefits of it and strategies on focusing on how to rewire your brain.
On neuroplasticity. Now let's look at some practical strategies to harness the power of neuroplasticity and build mental strength. I'm going to give you 3 strategies. One is learning new skills. Challenging your brain with new activities stimulates the formation of new neural connections. Becoming aware of your thought processes and learning to regulate them effectively. Here's how you can practice metacognition. One is self-reflection. Regularly take time to examine your thoughts and reactions. Ask yourself, why did I respond that way? Or what assumptions am I making? Next is thought journaling. Write down your thoughts and analyze them. About was the second strategy to build mental strength using metacognition and mindfulness. The first one was learning a new skill. The third strategy is to engage in activities that challenge your brain, such as puzzles, strategy games, or brain training apps.
Awesome.
Even though the clinical effectiveness of brain training games is debated, any activity that engages your mind can contribute.
She's cool. So yeah, she had a lot to say. Because I don't want to get flagged for copyright, I decided to just have her say a little bit and stop it. Okay, so the cool thing though is so we learned you can rewire your brain with challenging activities, metacognition focus by self-reflection, and then the other things that she recommended. So I think it's pretty neat. So a question that we all have to ask is, do you have a new activity going on? Do you have new people in your life? What are you doing to kind of strengthen your brain? How are you doing the self-reflection? I want to say this too. When you're self-reflecting, it shouldn't be like, oh gosh, I'm an idiot. Oh, I'm a failure. No, that's not healthy self-reflection. Okay. Make sure that you're still being positive and open-minded and optimistic as you're doing your self-reflections as well. So guys, listen, that was pretty cool. If you want more on her name is Dr. Tracy. She's doing neuroplasticity. She's fabulous, by the way. With that said, guys, it has been a fabulous time hanging out with you on the Grit and Equity Talks podcast. And so thank you for joining me on the Grit and Equity Talks podcast. Again, this podcast will be featured on the XFactor Edu Network, hosted by Dr. Matthew Joseph, and you can find it on Spotify. You can also find it on all of my social media outlets. Facebook is Miss India White. LinkedIn is the India White. Twitter is Indie Speak and Teach. Instagram is Indie238. YouTube is India White 123. Dr. India White is TikTok. Threads is Indie238. Blue Sky is Dr. India White. You can check out the website www.india-white.com for books, blogs, or to schedule me for a speaking and coaching event. To all of my Minnesota peeps, I love you. So sorry I'm not going to be there, but I'll see some of you at the next conferences. FCTM in Florida, that is in June. NCTM, can't wait. The NCTM-NCTE joint conference, I'll be there. I'll be there at Can't. I plan on being at NCSM and NCTM as well. Thank you to all of the conference sponsors and those that have allowed me to speak. And thank you to those that have already reached out to me about next year as well. I'm excited to join you guys at all these great opportunities. And then, of course, Grit Mini Workshop, Grassroots Workshop website. Go check it out. If you need students that need to be tutored, your school wants to invest in tutoring, give me an opportunity to work with you guys. I'd be honored. Don't forget to get your Grit calendars, okay, for planning. And with that said, guys, remember that this podcast in particular is if you are trying to close the achievement gap, you're having classroom management issues, or students aren't motivated to do work, you can join me each time on the Grit and Equity Talks podcast. It has been a blast. Thank you so much again for joining me. And remember to have great resilience in time. Until next time, guys, stay gritty. See ya.